what's going on in the mind of your toddler. Hey pupils, this is Sharmada Kaushik. Welcome back to The Learning Kind. We have a very exciting guest today, Ms. Sheetal Jethy. She is a specialist in early childhood education and the founder of Chalk Academy, whose mission is to initiate and develop holistic preschools. She's here today to tell us how to build conducive environments for your children. So we're very excited to learn the insights of childhood educations from her today.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. Oh my God, it is overwhelming.
But you were telling me about how different senses are related to the different developmental stages in a child. And I can't help but relate that to adults that I know today also. I don't see them having learned the things that they don't learn as childs later on. I don't think it happens.
Of course. So if you look at any kind of developmental theory which we have, one of them is Sigmund Freud.
Yeah. Oedipus complex and dream analysis.
Yes. So when you look at Sigmund Freud's theory, he talks about development of stages of life and how it impacts, early stages of life and how it impacts the later development of a human being as
the
such.
Psychosexual development.
Exactly, the psychosexual development. Of course, he said, his theory was more related to the sexual orientation. But then if you look at very keenly, you see that there's a stage called as oral stage.
Yeah, different stages, correct.
Yeah. So when you see oral stage, he sees that yes, that oral cavity is something which is the most active during that stage. The child actually takes inputs from the environment only through the oral cavity. Right? So if you see a child, what will the child do when the child is infant? You give anything to the child will start putting it across into the mouth.
Yeah, in the mouth, correct.
So what is the child doing? The child is exploring the entire environment through the mouth. Now, if the oral cavity is activated, if the child gets enough of sensorial inputs during that stage, the child is going to start developing into a stable individual later on.
Okay.
So that's where I was talking to you about when does the child get his first teeth.
Yeah.
Right? Now when the child starts eating solid food, when the child is 7 months old, and eventually we start exposing the child to different kind of spices, different texture of food, whether it is a muruku, whether it is rice, whether it is peanuts, whether it is tamarind for the taste, whether it is a spicy chutney for that matter. Every part of that oral cavity is kind of activated, isn't it? But on the contrary, if you do not address the oral sensorial inputs of the child during that stage, the child is always craving for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why there are people who have sweet tooth, people who like spicy food and
So there's no, those elements can be related to kind of some kind of deficiency. Or probably. But then if you have noticed, there are a lot of people who keep on chewing something and they want constantly something into their mouth. Maybe tobacco, pan, right? So that's where it comes from. Your cavity, oral cavity satisfaction
wasn't stimulated enough.
Right? In fact, when you see later on when the oral cavity stimulation is not done properly, children do have speech issues. So that's what I was talking about, that when a child is ready to eat solid, please start giving solid to the child. Otherwise, you are just working against nature. Nature has already told you that you are ready for the child is ready to eat solid.
Explore
please expose. And constantly when the child, I still come across with parents whose children are about 3 years old, 4 years old, they still have aversion towards solid food. Yeah, that's the situation. But sadly what happens is during that course of time, you have actually missed out the phase where the child needs the maximum of intervention to activate your
Oral cavity,
sensorial
senses.
elements which is there inside your mouth, which eventually delays the speech.
Delays the speech, impairs the speech. You've done a lot of other work with language acquisition also, right? What are some of the other developmental stages that need attention while children are learning to speak, learning to acquire language as a skill?
Language development has a pattern, right? Which we call it as LSRW.
Yeah, LSRW.
Right? We all kind of understand that. Listening, speaking, reading and writing. Now eventually I have, of course, being spending after donkey years into this industry, I have seen when children are admitted to school, preschool rather, for the first time, and parents come across, they're only worried about writing. My child is not writing and my child has to write cursive, my child his writing has to be legible. So but they forget that speaking is as much important as writing. Listening is as much important as speaking, right? You don't speak up in your house to the child is not listening to anything.
How is he going to
speak? How is the child going to understand? How is the child going to comprehend, right? To speak, you need a database inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need a bank inside, bank of words, bank of sentences, meaning. bank of lot of things, right? You need that bank to be developed.
Correct.
To take out that ATM samajh ke we have to take out the currency. You need that bank to be developed, isn't it? Now what happens eventually if you just focus on writing, you don't focus on the other three skills, this doesn't happen.
The language isn't actually acquired then, I feel, because I have some friends who had to take Hindi as a compulsory language at one point. I think when I was in school, Hindi was compulsory. We didn't have an option. And nobody speaks Hindi at home. They've not heard, they don't watch Hindi movies, serials, nothing. Nobody reads to them. The teacher will force them, beat them and make them write Hindi. Till now they can write Hindi, and if there's a sentence they can read Hindi, but they don't know what they're reading. They can read it, they don't get what they're reading.
Absolutely.
That is such a foreign concept to me, because I've learned quite a bit of languages. It's easy, language comes easily to me. And it's very funny, the reading, and I'm like, okay, what do you read? No idea what I read.
Actually, so there's an absolute disconnection, isn't it? So you need to listen, you need to communicate. The moment you listen, you need to have that output by speaking, right? That's the reason, that's how it's built in, listening and then speaking. So I belong to Orissa, right? And I have been, of course, here from last 17 years kind of thing, but then I acquired Kannada probably in maybe 2 years kind of thing. Of course, I'm not a fluent, I don't speak fluently in Kannada, but how did I learn? I asked my house help to start teaching me 5 words every day. Okay. Oh. So she used to teach me 5 words. Then I asked her about verbs and then tenses, and then I kind of
mixed it up.
So that's a smart way, of course. But then I started speaking to her, right? So the first thing, of course, I was listening from her, that how is the dialect, how is the rhythm, where do you stress, where do you kind of pause, where do you kind of flow, let it flow kind of thing, right? Indian languages, or in fact any language, is about the way you kind of, the rhythm is built in, right? So if you look at this movie PK, so, right, it says अच्छा, यहाँ पे अच्छा का 3-4 मतलब होता है, अच्छा, right? So when you pause, when you kind of stress upon a word, the meaning changes.
Correct,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So you need to kind of, to master the language, you need to listen first, right?
Yeah.
So unless you listen, you can't speak, and then unless you can't speak, you will not be able to read because
move on to advanced stages of language.
Right? So that's how language develops. So you need to understand, for a child to acquire language, it's really important that you let the child to hear. The child needs to listen to stories, listen to what you are conversing in between, listen to meaningful conversations, and that's how the child starts comprehending, speaking, then reading and writing. Believe me, a child at early years can pick up about 8 languages without any difficulty if the child is given proper exposure.
I've heard they can pick up a lot of languages
Yes.
early years, but I don't think it's quite possible for us to expose them to 8 languages.
See, if you are there, probably, let's say for example, if you are there in an international school, there are children from different parts of the country or different parts of the world, probably you get a lot of exposure. In fact, India itself has kind of started expanding like anything. People can speak Japanese, people can
they're
speak.
doing online courses in German and
Exactly. I still feel that exposure to 5 languages is not a big deal in India, right? So children can pick up 5 languages because the house help is from a different place. Your friends which are there, your neighbors, they are from different place, right?
Yeah, North Indians pick up North Indian languages, South Indians pick up South Indian languages.
So no, I mean, in fact, let's say for example, somebody has moved into Bangalore or to Karnataka from northern part of India. They speak probably and they have moved, their ancestors are like, mother is a Gujarati, and so nowadays it's like a lot of Cosmo culture which has started coming in, and I feel that it's not difficult. Being multilingual is good, but more than that, exposure in terms of listening, exposure in terms of speaking, letting the child to speak, letting the child to read, right? You should give books to the child, right? Age appropriate books. If you have a child in the house, you should have age appropriate books into the house, right? If the child doesn't have books,
then there's phone.
So that's what happens, and there's so much of passive engagement which is there because and your sensorial overload again comes from the phone, right? So we don't want that to happen. Getting your child involved with books makes them understand that, okay, I can engage myself solitarily, which is really important.
You're playing by yourself.
Absolutely.
You always want friends, you want some TV on.
Yeah, but at the same point of time, I understand that we all need friends.
We're social beings.
We are social beings, but having yourself engaged by yourself, it's really important.
I mean, your engagement shouldn't depend on friends.
Exactly. But then meaningfully engaged. I don't want the child to be kind of looking at the phones or the tabs and just getting engaged like that. So language development will only happen when you address all those areas. Writing is just an output. It might not be stressed so much because doesn't has a healthy impact on child if you keep on stressing that okay, my child has to write, right? It will automatically come when the child starts his or her pencil grip. The child will automatically start holding a pencil and putting their thoughts onto the paper.
Yeah, but you mentioned parents and their involvement and their expectations with preschool kids. The expectation starts at a preschool level now. Whatever happened to playing around in the mud and not knowing what school is till you're 5 years old? Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean the stars must denote some competency which has been lost.
Of course, yes. Okay. So honestly, the assessment system itself, I want to defy the assessment system. I don't want the child to be assessed, right? So the uniqueness of every child you are defying by giving stars and by just compressing your curriculum to just couple
3
of
stars.
Yeah, isn't it? So the expectation is huge, and the kind of competitive things which the child is has to undergo from the early age is enormous sometimes, parents sometimes start putting pressure that you have to start writing, you have to start reading, you have to do addition, you have to do subtraction, but forgetting that a child needs to play first.
Yeah, they need to see what the world is
and believe me, 80% of your learning during early years happens only through play.
Yeah.
If you don't let the child play, the child is not going to learn.
So it's a vicious cycle. They're like, don't play, come sit here, write. It's writing, it's going through trauma, but it's not learning anything.
Yes. Now because you start told about writing, now what do you need for the child to write? What are the prerequisite skills that the child needs?
Should be able to hold a pen, maybe.
Okay.
Be able to trace a couple of dots, or at least copy something from something, right? Like I should be able to see something and draw that. I should be able to know that there's paper and draw. That's the basic, I would say.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know. I don't know.
So the child needs to sit first.
Oh, God. I'm taking things for granted.
The child needs to have strength over here.
Yeah.
Before the strength over here, the child needs to have a strength over here. The child needs to have strength of the back.
To sit up straight.
The child needs to have the strengthened back.
Oh, yeah.
The child needs to have a strengthened hip.
Yeah.
Thighs. And then only the child will be able to sit.
Hold a pen and write.
And how when a child plays, the child negotiates the rules.
I want a ball, you want
Yeah, the child starts conversing, which is speaking, right? Then once the child comprehends and the child goes to a book and kind of relates the pictures to himself and the friends, starts reading,
understanding.
Of course, and because the child has been playing and the gross motor is developing, the child starts
writing. Oh.
Bingo again.
So drawing and all of that equally important,
Of course.
First make a picture, then maybe write an A. A for apple.
So that's how things develop. We take play for granted, but play is the work of child.
Very essential.
Yes. Without play, nothing happens. So play, play, play. Don't read. That will automatically fall in place.
I think that's great advice. I think first we should be understanding why do they, first of all, why do they need to write? To be able to communicate. For that they need to have friends.
Absolutely.
Going to cut them off from friends while they write or talk.
Absolutely. So that's how it builds on.
Very interesting. But I'm sure there are multiple different philosophies and educational methodologies that people follow to effectively teach these things, probably writing, reading, language, whatever, mathematics, behavior, empathy. All of these things are taught through multiple different philosophies. There is Steiner, Montessori, so many preschool. In your opinion, how can they coexist? What is the harmony between these methodologies?
So if you look at all these methodologies, has only one goal, which is child-led education, right? So you go ahead, you pick up any philosophy, whether it is Reggio, whether it is Maria Montessori, whether it is play-based method, whether it is Frederick Frobel, everybody focuses on child-led learning.
Was child-led learning?
Now, for example, I'll give you two scenarios. You tell me where will you be happy, okay? Pretend that you are a child, okay? So let's say you come to the school and I ask you to come sit on your chair and I'll give you an activity to do. You draw it and then I'll tell you that what to read, what to write. And then there's another place where you go to a school and you are led free. There are a lot of toys, there are a lot of blocks, and then you go and just play and start your day with kind of whatever you want to do. not the teacher telling you. Which method would
The
you like?
second one.
Of course, you didn't take a second to think about it, right? So everybody, whether it is Montessori, whether it is Froebel, they focus on a child-led learning. Now, do you think when a child is given an option of going and playing, we discussed just play, do you think that the child is not learning? The child is of course learning from the environment. I don't need the child to draw a leaf, color a leaf on a worksheet.
If he has one to play with, right?
Right?
Yeah.
The child goes out,
Exactly.
explores the nature and understands what's a leaf, right? What's the stem, what's a flower, how does it smell, how does it look like, what's the color, what is a red color, what's a green color.
Yeah.
So don't you think that nature provides that?
Exactly, yeah.
So does a child need to go inside the classroom and do as teacher directed, or if the child has a mood to go outside and learn, let the child lead the way.
Oh, let the child lead the way.
Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
So I have seen a lot of places, like I have gone to Japan, I have gone to US, I've seen a lot of methodologies working. So you won't believe when I visited Japan and I saw the classrooms. The classrooms are open classrooms. When I say open classrooms, the classrooms have the doors open to the playground. Okay, and a child can go in the class, and if the child is kind of getting not interested into the class, can come into
Walk out and
play for some time and come back into the classroom.
Yeah.
Just imagine the kind of the psychological impact which the child had by just letting the child free for that 5 minutes and see that the child has taken a brain break, gone out, played for some time, and then just come back because, okay, I see that my friends are there inside. I think there's something which is interesting which is happening, so let me go back.
I think the whole relationship with learning itself would
drastically
evolve,
nurture itself, isn't
Yeah.
it? So that's where child learning is impactful, and that's what all these methodologies talk about. So whether it is Reggio, whether it is Maria Montessori, whether it is Froebel, they talk about child leading the way. Now I'll give you an example. Let's say how Maria Montessori probably works. So in Montessori you have a lot of materials through which the child learns. So the child touches, feels, sees, and works with the materials to learn, right? In Montessori system, if a child once arrives, is never told that what you have to do for the day. The classroom is set up in a way that the child goes and picks up a corner which the child is interested, right? And if there are 20 children into the classroom, you will see that automatically the children are going to be dividing themselves into groups. This by nature. You don't interfere. You don't interfere at all.
Oh.
The child takes the lead and chooses a group the child wants to be. What the teacher does over there, the teacher just observes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so the child picks up the material, and of course for a couple of days they would have to be, told that, you'll have to pick up your mats.
Put a
Yeah,
button.
no, not that. So they direct them that there's a mat which is there. You don't sit on the floors. You just have a mat on which you'll have to take the mat. You'll have to put it across. They pick up the material and they
figure it out.
explore it by themselves.
Oh.
The teacher do not
Teach anything.
No. And when there's a number concept, probably a numeracy which has to, so probably the teacher comes at that point of time. When the child has to learn letters, the teacher comes at that point of time.
When there is a real need for guidance.
Yes, but when there's a material need, when the child needs to understand pincer grip, I don't need the teacher.
Yeah.
Right? But yes, when there's numeracy which comes into picture, yes, the child needs to learn about that. Of course, the teacher comes into picture. Right? That's where the teacher comes and has a guided learning. But again, it is child-led. There's a group who's already interested in numeracy. They have already picked up the materials which
and you join when you feel ready.
Yes. So now when the child is already picked up the materials of numeracy, the child is already sitting with about 5 different children, and then the teacher comes into picture and tells that, okay, this is what we are going to do today.
Okay.
Right? But the child has already taken the lead.
Yeah, they chose, okay, I'm ready to learn this now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So similarly, when there's a set of children who are ready to learn
Language. Letters, you go and you help them out.
Absolutely. So that's what is child-led. So the learning happens much better than what if I say you that, okay, come over, I'm going to give you a sheet and then
you have to sit here, you have to do this. Yeah. What if the child isn't ready yet? Like you said, his hand isn't standing up straight and you're like, write a W.
Exactly. So that's what is the, every philosophy talks about the similar kind of thing. Specifically the dairy protein into amino acids. And it stops at a stage which is called as casein.
Oh, and you're allergic to?
No. So what happens is casein is not good for your bloodstream.
Oh.
Yeah, so what happens? Casein would actually act with your neurotransmitters and block them. Yeah. So what happens? It adversely impacts on your circulation of information going to the brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody who has milk.
Those who have allergy to milk or casein, they can't.
Oh.
Yes.
How would you be able to get a test done?
You have to get it tested, right? So what used to happen is with my son, he used to not sleep in the nights.
Oh.
He used to be all awake.
Okay.
Right? So of course we knew that there's something wrong because you can't be awake, right?
All the time.
All the time. You can't be awake like if you are kind of so active throughout the day, you can't be awake in the night. So that's where we got him tested, and that's how we found that he is kind of allergic. Right? That's where we went into a gluten-free and a casein-free diet for him, right? But for me,
you don't have to.
I
you
don't
can
have to,
milk.
right? I can have milk, I can have rotis, I can have, breads and stuffs like that. But yes, where it comes from, the gluten part, is that, so when we were discussing just when we were having lunch that, any carb, gets converted into sugar, right? So you have a piece of bread in the morning, right? Or 2 pieces of bread probably with an omelette. So what happens is that breaks down and it is equivalent to having 3 spoons of sugar.
Okay, that's not much.
That is too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in the morning itself, you have actually completed the quota of the entire day
of sugar.
Yes, which is too much.
Oh.
That's where gluten is a problem.
So gluten gets converted to sugar in it.
Yes. So, but when you say that a bread is dangerous because it is highly processed form of,
Correct.
So anything which is processed is bad.
Yeah.
Right? But when you get into a wheat,
roti.
a roti kind of thing,
it's no problem.
No problem at all.
Oh, I can have rotis at night.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. So that's where you need to kind of question. So that's where, whenever I have go into a school, I want to, have this habit of curiosity inside the classrooms.
Why this? Why that? Yeah.
If you don't have questions, so whenever I take a training session, I always say, beginning of my training session, that you have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, there can be 2 options. Either I'm brilliant, which I'm not, or probably you didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So there's no third option, right?
Yeah.
If you do not have questions, that means you have not...
Or you're not even interested.
Exactly, right? So you need to have a curious set of children whom you have to nurture. You do not have to, have children who are like, okay, yes,
ठीक
है, right? Got it, understood, right?
रात को रोटी नहीं खाना, ठीक है.
right? So you need to develop that curiosity into children. So that's what is important. And when we were talking about this different methodologies, all these methodologies nurture curiosity into children. And only when they experiment, only when they have a hands-on experience of things in and around into their environment, that's where curiosity develops, right? In fact, one of the principles or methodology, which is the Reggio method, it says environment is your third teacher, right? Who's the first teacher? Mom. Who's the second teacher?
I was going to say play.
So good, you got it right in terms of getting the methods right, okay? So the first teacher, of course, starts from your home. So of course, mom or your parents are your first teachers. The second teacher, of course, when you come to the school, it comes to the teachers. And the third teacher is your environment.
Correct, yeah.
Right? You learn from your environment.
That's why we have socio-cultural level of development.
Everything. Yeah. Socio-emotional, socio-cultural, your values, everything starts coming in from the environment. The way the environment is set, that's how you start, developing. Right? Yeah. Now connect all those things which we were discussing before. The language.
Yeah, the playing,
connecting with the right? It's all environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way you give the environment to the child, that's how the child develops.
Schools are also nothing but structured environments to help them grow and learn.
So at early childhood, I always believe that schools should focus on giving a nurturing environment to the child. That's it.
How can other stakeholders, like probably governmental agencies, departments, NGOs, or how can these other stakeholders influence or make a difference or contribute to early childhood education in a way that it can grow better?
I'll tell you, the first step has been taken with the National Education Policy 2020 to be coming in. Earlier, if you look at early years, were never considered
learning
to be a part of the educational system. Right? It was always into the Department of Women and Child welfare kind of thing, right? So it was never a part of an educational system.
Correct.
Now with the National Education Policy coming in, early years have been considered into the entire framework, and there's been a lot of work which has been started happening into this domain. There's a lot of research, there's a lot of reforms which has started coming in. Play has been kind of given quite a lot of importance into the curriculum which has come up. But yes, India being a diverse country
it takes time.
But believe me, with the industry growing in, or with the segment going in, it is going to happen, because people have started understanding the importance of early years. If you see, there's a lot of foreign investments which have started coming in, understanding that this market across the world is probably about 250 billion USD. And by assuming with the rate which is being forecasted, it would be about 450 billion USD by 2030.
Double.
Almost double.
Yeah.
So looking at that rate, it's always investment into this early years is something which everyone is looking at. And one of the researchers, in fact, says that if you are investing into early years, you are investing to the future of the country. Right?
True, yeah.
So I think the changes have started coming in with the research which is getting done into the early years domain, which is of course saying that yes, you should invest. There's a lot of foreign investments which have started coming into India. There's a lot of awareness which has started developing into almost all the stakeholders who are there, whether it is parents, whether it is school, whether it is the leadership team, it is kind of, started coming in. But there would be the evolution will take time.
It will take time. How do you envision the future of probably early childhood education, preschools, curriculums in the area for the future, for the probably sooner rather than later, 10 years ahead?
So as I said, that there's a lot of, foreign companies who have started investing. There's a lot of countries who have started, collaborating rather. You see a lot of, different kind of pedagogies which has started coming in. Like, let's say, for example, a Finland-based pedagogy.
Yeah, I heard. Even Swedish
pedagogy.
Yeah.
Norwegian way of learning. Japanese way of learning kind of thing. So you will see a lot of transformation which is going to come in along with the national education policy which has been kind of drawn from 2020. You will see a lot of transformation which is going to be coming into different kind of pedagogies which has come into the sector.
Especially one you mentioned including playtime.
Absolutely. Now child-led activities have started being given importance.
Yeah.
Now the scenario which was there before was that there was no structure into the curriculum for early years before. Now there's some kind of framework which has started coming in, that yes, you will have to give play as importance. You will have to take the child, transition from a preschool to a class 1 very smoothly. There is a transition plan which is there for running from a kindergarten to a class 1 or a grade 1 kind of thing. Bilingual or multilingual approaches have started coming into picture, where mother tongue is given importance. Previously it was not there, right? A child coming into a preschool or where a child is 2 years and starts coming into a preschool, and that's the first foreign land for the child, and the child doesn't have a connect because the language is different, right? Those frameworks have started coming in.
Which brings me to the question, you founded Chalk Academy, and I saw a lot of work being done on bilingual children, having bilingual environments, multilingual environments. What was your vision with Chalk Academy?
So when I found, established Chalk, or the only thing which came into my mind, that the training segment which is there in India was absolutely unstructured.
Yeah.
Right. What should a teacher know before they go to handle the child, right? It was essential to empower teacher with what is required for the child when the child is getting in, or when the teacher is getting inside the classroom.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you look at when I started Chalk, which was in about 2018, the curriculum of the training had already emphasized on critical thinking, creative thinking, which came into existence with the National Education Policy 2020.
Correct.
Right? So there were a lot of things which we had already thought about, that teacher needs this to nurture a curious child.
And at this stage of learning.
And that was the focus. So that you empower children by empowering teachers.
Yeah.
You nurture children by empowering teachers.
Because they are the first point of contact for the children.
The second teacher.
Point of contact.
The second teacher. The first point of contact.
Mother,
but of course, we did a lot of parenting workshops as well, just to make sure that the other set of stakeholders also are educated.
They're in line, they understand, they help facilitate the teaching process. That actually is something which even overall education policies struggle to understand, that parents are the
first
biggest
point of
stakeholders.
contact.
Yeah. And what are some of the steps you have taken to include? You said you have training and you have workshops for teachers, but on a daily basis, what are some of the steps you can take to involve them into the new process of learning and understanding the education of early childhood?
Parents?
Yeah.
Okay. See, the set of parents which we are dealing with are the Google
The Google
children,
generation.
yeah, the Google children, or the the internet,
Google University.
yeah, the Google Baba is the guideline or the GPS for them. So what happens is when we interact with a parent, they come with a overload of information,
Yeah.
which
Already they have.
yes,
Yeah.
which they do not know to filter, right? So when I say that you are a parent, first unlearn everything, right? Go by the child. Let the child make choices for themselves from the beginning. Of course, you would say that okay, what does the child know? He's just a puny little one who's roaming here and there, kind of thing, and probably doesn't understand anything. Believe me, children understand everything. Right? You'll have to come with a concept that my child knows, right? It's not that my child doesn't know,
Yeah.
right? I'll give you 2-3 scenarios. Answer me, okay? Now I'm going to take your question. So let's say what happens is there's a child you see who's putting the left shoes into right and right shoes into the left.
Yeah.
Right? What would you do?
You'd be like the tulta, do it the other way.
Why do you think that the child doesn't know?
Yeah.
The child is just experimenting.
Oh, will it fit? Will it not fit?
Yeah. Just imagine. Do you know what the concept of jutis, mojaris, jutis?
Yeah, shoes, no?
Yeah, the shoes.
Huh.
Does it have a left and a right?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It points, no, like this?
No.
Okay.
No. So both are symmetrical. The moment you start wearing it, it takes the shape of your foot.
Oh.
Now just imagine if the person who had invented a mojari or a juti had thought कि ये मेरे left में जाएगा, right में जाएगा, juti कभी invent होती? You would have never had jutis into your lives.
Why jutis are the ones which don't have a... Oh, okay.
It doesn't have a left and a right. It takes your shape, right? The child...
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Wait, I'm not able to imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it now, but then I don't think I can go out and wear my sandals ulta.
That's
right?
because your brain is now tuned and your jutis have already taken the shape of your foot.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Yes, darling. So you'll have to check this, right? Now, just imagine a person who has invented this.
Yeah.
If the person would,
correct.
right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, right?
I have to reset my life.
Now let me ask you another question, okay? Have you seen a child playing on this a slide?
Yeah.
So a child goes by the stairs and then slides. And then the next moment you see that the child is going ulta.
Correct, yes.
And the mom standing over there says that, no! You would also do the same thing, right?
Yes.
Right? Why do you want to do that?
Why take such a long, difficult route? You'll keep sliding down. Go from there.
That's where we do the things wrong. So the approach itself is wrong because the child is experiencing, experimenting. Does the child doesn't know that
Of course it knows, right? Yeah.
So why you have to correct that, yes, this is not the way, this is the right way. There's no right or the wrong which the child is doing. The child is probably wanting to understand what is inertia, what is gravity by himself or herself, which we teach through books. And we have this, notion that the child doesn't understand and I am the one who...
I'm the savior.
Yeah. Right? So if we change that mindset itself as a parent, that okay, my child knows, I don't have to make the child learn.
Yeah.
It's
learning on its own.
Yes. As I said, environment is the third teacher.
Yeah.
You just have to create an environment and the child would learn by himself or herself. Just keep exposing the child to different things.
Environments, places,
Different
things.
environments, different places, different cuisines, different books.
Languages.
Just expose.
Yeah.
That's what the child needs.
And that's what your job is.
Yes.
essentially.
Your job is not to tell what is right or wrong to the child.
It'll figure it
So
out.
on a daily basis, the parent has to change the notion that I know
And you don't.
and you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the Jyoti concept. Actually, to be very honest, I'm still.
Buy a new Jyoti and you will see.
Yes, I think I have
you
to.
you should. Just go for it. Buy a new Jyoti and you'll see that there is no left and a right. Both will fit you the same. And then moment you start wearing it, probably 3 times, 4 times,
Then
5 times,
it sets to your
it
feet.
sets to your feet. Trial and error basis. Shall we try this? Shall we try that? Now what happens is, our brains sometimes, think that okay, this is not me. Okay, I don't want to do this. If there is a message which comes from somebody with a authoritative tone. Now there's something interesting where the child turns into a toddler, like 2 years to 3 years, sort of from 2 years onwards, they get into a phase which is called as a no phase.
Oh.
Okay. For everything you say there,
No.
they will say no.
Right? They won't do it.
They won't do it because what happens is language development is limited. No is a word which comes very easily to children.
Yeah.
And that empowers them to make decisions.
It's the first set of decisions you're making.
Yes, that no. Yes is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is difficult, right? But no is easy. So whatever you say, the child says no. So when it comes from an authoritative tone, the child is going to get into a phase which is this no phase, right? So it's important that, of course, instruction should come, but instruction should come in a way where the child is involved.
Yeah, it's not an order.
Yes, because safety elements, how do you teach them, right? Of course, it has to come through the way that, yes, you are talking to them and you're telling them that these are the pros and cons. And of course, then the child will understand. Making them experience a danger is definitely not something we would want, right?
Definitely.
Now, when we start giving them options for 5 different things and we instruct 2, it becomes much easier for you to get through. But then you instruct 5 and all the 5 are instructions, then becomes
No.
Right? So that's how the psychology plays.
Correct, okay. Does this no phase last through teenage also? Because then my mom clean your room and I'm like, no.
Depends that how much of fixation you had.
Yeah, but you'll be cleaning your room and she'll be like, clean your room, and I'm like, no. Now I won't do it because you asked me to. Interesting. So you're saying that teachers should ideally know how to instruct, when to instruct, what is an instruction, what is an order, and when you're going to get a no. So that is what you're looking at as teacher trainings through Chalk Academy also, I believe.
We want them to understand the child. That's the crux, right? It's very unpredictable to even think that or it's very unlikely to even think that you will be able to predict a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every child has its own
It's too
unique
ambitious.
way. Yes, it's too ambitious. so it's kind of
Don't go there.
Don't go there kind of thing, that place. But to understand a child in terms of what the child might do in a particular situation is what we aim at.
That's why I'm curious about inclusive education, because you can't predict children. They have all different needs and capacities and capabilities. So apart from probably ability and learning ability or capacity, what are the different areas that should be made inclusive for children at an early childhood education level?
I have a problem with this word, inclusion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you why. Why does this thing exist? Because there is an exclusion.
There's an exclusion, that's why you're causing. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right? Who gave this right to exclude?
Somebody. And who are we to exclude?
Who are you to exclude? Right? I mean, you are as much as a part of a child who with a neurodiversified development is as much a part of the society as a neurotypical person has, right?
Absolutely.
So who gave the right to exclude?
First of all.
First of all. And because there was exclusion, that's why we are talking about inclusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's going back to the basics, that as much this class belongs to a neurotypical child, it belongs to
neurodivergent
a diversified child, right? Of course, we as individuals are not capable of handling the diversity which the child has.
Yeah, especially in one classroom, you can't handle multiple.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's our incapability.
Correct, absolutely.
Not the child's.
Definitely.
So they should not be excluded kind of thing. But yes, we need, setups. We need, understanding, awareness about neurodiversity to have them inside the classroom. That should be the focus area. So every stakeholder, whether it is parents, whether it is teachers, whether it is the school management, leadership, government, everybody should be a part of having a neurodiversified child inside the classroom and making the classrooms equipped, making the teachers equipped, making the parents equipped to have that child included, right? With that, of course, comes a lot of responsibility where teachers need to understand psychology of the child, observe the child, have a setup which probably needs the child to calm down sometimes, probably needs to be away from the other children sometimes and then come back. That's where it is important. Acceptance is important, right? Acceptance at every field, right? Where how do you ask the peer of that child to accept? Do you talk to the child and say that, okay, he's a friend of yours, but he doesn't think like you.
Yeah.
He thinks differently, right? There's always a way to put it across to children. There's always a way to put it across to everyone. So that's how it should be. So understanding that is really, really important.
Very interesting. Do teachers, I mean, wouldn't they have to stay constantly updated with the new researches in the field of child psychology, How would you suggest they do that? Like, should school systems provide trainings or classes?
Honestly, there's a very limited knowledge which is there in India, whether it is observing the child, whether it is assessing the child, whether it is having individualized educational plan for the child. Hence reading, having trainings from different places across the world, because there's a lot of content which is available. There should be, the teachers should be exposed to different kind of content, different kinds of training, including the parents, including the leadership team. So
basically everyone should be proactive.
Everyone should be aware, everyone should be proactive, everyone should be understanding what is needed to the child.
And that the learning landscape is changing drastically.
Absolutely.
It's never going to be the same. What brought you into this field? Like you said, usually we kind of exclude early childhood education. There's this saying in Kannada called "Aatukuntu lekkakilla." It means you're there in the play, but we won't count you that much. That's how we all look at, you know, preschool education. What made you so curious that you wanted to study it and, you know, set a career in the field?
Okay. Uh, it's been a while, of course, but to be very honest, when I started my career, I was into setting up preschools. You know, preschool as a business entity, preschool as a profit center.
Yeah.
Um,
You worked with Kidsy.
I worked with multiple
Apple
brands, of
Child-
course.
Child.
Yeah, multiple, of course,
Learning curve.
brands, and being one of the founding members of almost all
Yeah.
the brands which were there, because it was like 20 years back. Of course, preschool was booming at that point of time. Now that's where I started going inside, and you know, kind of started being there with children. The energy is transformational. Okay, believe me, it's meditative.
Whoa.
You know, so you be with children for about 2 hours.
It's an extreme sport.
Yeah, and then you'll have your day energized. Absolutely, you know, the dopamine release is going to be like, oh my god, it's like it was way high. That was the I think the motivation point of view, that I don't want to leave this field. And it's been 20 years that I'm only there into early years, into diversified field, where I have counseled parents, I have counseled teachers, I have trained parents, trained teachers, and I just don't want to be getting out of this field, because that's where there's so much of learning which happens every day. There's a new learning.
Yeah, and then this conversation has been so enlightening for me, because even though I knew these things superficially at like a theoretical level, I feel like you connected the dots so effectively. So mind blown. I'm still stuck
Still
at
stuck
the
on the
duty. And it's been crazy, and we really appreciate that you took the time, you came all the way here, and you absolutely blew all of our minds.
Thank you so much. Of course.
Thank you so much for coming. If you want to give any message to our audience, this is the camera. If you want to say something to teachers, to parents, and to please make them also think as much as I'm thinking right now about all the things I've learned wrong.
Apart from the duties. Said earlier, I want you to learn everything. Learn with children, and I think that's the best way that a child is going to flourish. Don't say them no. I would say that this is a very interesting thing which I was sharing it across with you earlier, that parents in Japan or teachers in Japan, I recently happened to visit Japan and kind of learn a lot of things over there. They address children after their first name as San. So let's say my name is Sheetal and I'm a child of 2 years or 3 years, I will be addressed as Sheetal San. Now the reason being is that every individual over there, a child of 2 years, is respected as an adult, right? As an equal who can make decisions for themselves, equal who has an ability to understand and independently dive in, right? So to make them independent, to make them take their decisions, please treat them as an individual who understands and would be able to take decisions for themselves. As teachers, of course, I want you to create classrooms which nurtures curiosity of children. I don't want the classrooms to be, driven through instruction. Let the child lead the way. Then, of course, you facilitate. I want you all to become facilitators. I want more facilitators rather than teachers. I want the environment to play a role inside the classroom, inside your school, inside your homes, so that the natural ability for the child to grow by themselves is kind of blooming. And that's it. I think that's how child development works. Let the child nurture themselves. Let the environment play its role. Don't work against the nature. let the nature play its role, see the indication of the nature and just go by it. That's it.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and until next time, don't stop learning.